we all know reserve currencies don't last forever, and the USD's had an excellent run. But again, that's why we're precious metals bugs over here, and we're really positioning ourselves for if that debt can't be covered or if inflation continues to run hot, we feel like precious metals is the place to be either way to cover yourself.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching Yankee Stacking. You know, I recently had a commenter on one of my videos say that they traded in all their physical gold to buy silver. All of it. I'm not really keen on that approach, okay? I like to hedge wherever possible. And I think that both silver and gold have a place in our portfolios for similar yet distinct reasons. I like silver for barter and speculative upside. I like gold for generational wealth preservation as insurance. But I invest in a whole bunch of other places. Now, I'm no professional licensed financial advisor. I do coach my Yankee Cannon members in many ways, but I don't tell you exactly what to buy. I can't, all right? I can only recommend that you look into various investment options like real estate or private mortgage lending or commodity stocks. I'm in all of those. Gold and silver mining companies fall into that latter category, commodity stocks. And today, I'm highlighting Gold Mountain. That's why I built this little gold mountain here for us. And it's not just because I love the name. No, they are a very interesting junior miner. So if this interests you, please watch my interview with Kevin Smith, their CEO. We're going to be discussing the precious metals markets, some macroeconomics before we get into his company. And while you're at it, if you wouldn't mind hitting that like button right now, I would really appreciate it. Hi, Kevin. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks so much for having me here today.
Well, thanks for joining me on Yankee Stacking. I appreciate it. This is a gold and silver precious metals stacking channel. So I want to ask you right off the bat, are you a precious metals stacker?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was a big gold stacker for a long time, and then more recently got really into the silver space, just seeing that upside opportunity that's coming. So definitely a stacker.
Oh, that's awesome. I don't know if you don't have any with you right now, do you?
Well, I'm up at the mine right now. I could go grab some ore from the pit, but I don't have any on me right at the moment.
No, that's fine. I don't blame you if you're up there on site. I bet you don't have your stack with you. That's good. All right, so let's talk about what's going on in the markets, and let's talk about commodities especially. And inflation. We are seeing inflation all over the place, like lumber, steel, iron ore, wheat, copper, oil. Especially oil. Oil's going ballistic. The cost of living, Kevin, is just going up, and up. Inflation broke 7.5%. That's the highest in 40 years. It's red hot. And the other thing, too, is that consumer sentiment over that inflation is at its worst level in a decade. People are really worried, Kevin. And it's really no wonder. I just read that it's estimated to be costing us over $250 per month for our groceries. Are you concerned that we're going to see a full-blown 1970s style inflationary crisis soon?
I think we're kind of already in it, really. Like when you look at the used auto market and some of these other like more, let's say the prices that are going to hit, the regular consumer, the middle class. It's rampant. It's everywhere. And that 7.5 number, I mean, depending on your opinion of the Fed, I don't think we're getting the straight goods there. So, I believe it's much higher. And, I think it's an interesting time. And ultimately, this is why we positioned ourselves in the gold space. We're big believers in not only physical, but some of the torque you can get on the upside of physical pricing when you're involved in these miners. And we positioned 3 years ago when gold was at 1175, and we feel really fortunate for where the gold price is today. And frankly speaking, I think we're just getting started.
I think we're in worse shape than we were back in the 70s to weather an inflationary storm. Think about it. We had more savings back then. We had less debt, and we had greater domestic manufacturing. Not so now.
Yeah, and I think really debt's the major one that you hit on there. Our whole economy is being fueled by debt to maintain our standard of living. And we have these ultra low interest rates that really can only go one direction at the moment right now. And, they're threatening to raise rates, but really, I don't know how much they're going to be able to do that. Raising rates into, a recessionary environment based on the macro data that's coming out right now. I think they're playing with fire, but they also don't really have much of an option if they want to try to temper this inflation that's going on. So it's an interesting scenario that the Fed is in it, and I really don't envy their position. The last time inflation was running this hot, I believe lending rates were 11.5%. So we're a long way off from there. And, a few quarter points, as you said, I really don't know that's going to move the needle. What is going to happen, though, is the cost of lending is going to go through the roof. And you're going to find, people who are already having a hard time making it, grocery bills are up, fuel bills are up, utility bills are up. People just making it by already. They see these little ratchets in interest, and all of a sudden you have consumption going way down. So again, I don't envy their position, and it'll be very, very interesting to see how this all shakes out.
It's kind of humorous to think that just a few years ago, Bloomberg's Business Week cover shouted, quote, "Is inflation dead?" It was dormant, and it's here in spades.
I mean, you got to take a long-term view on this sort of thing. And in these inflationary environments, precious metals always perform well.
I just glanced at the gold and silver prices today, Friday, February 11th, and they're both up sharply. What's your outlook for precious metals for the rest of 2022?
Yeah, I mean, this consolidation for the last 18 months, I know has been really frustrating for a lot of people because, I mean, what better environment for gold to perform in? But we got to remember, these are paper prices. These aren't physical prices. And you're starting to see those shorts shrink. You're starting to see inventory shrink. And I really think 2022, we've got a good shot at seeing new all-time highs. And, we're breaking out of, in my opinion, with gold, we're breaking out of a long-term cup and handle. And I'm really excited where this goes. Gold's always performed really well in these inflationary environments. And I think there's a really interesting opportunity, especially with all the global uncertainty that's going on right now. You got the Russia situation, you got the Taiwan situation. It's everybody except the Western economy seems to be stacking right now. And, these cheap prices seems like it's really just the West exporting their physical gold and silver to the East at discounted prices. And, I'm a little bit uncertain how that's all going to shake out. But again, I'm positioned and fully anticipating to ride the wave up in these precious metals markets. So unless you're positioned with assets, hard assets at that, inflation could run away and they could manage the debt. But at the same time, I think you're going to see a loss in confidence in, the US Fed and the stability of the US dollar as a reserve currency. You're already seeing some interesting jockeying from Russia and China with some of these new pipeline deals and the sale of natural gas and oil outside of the US dollar. All of this stuff points to, the reserve currency potentially falling. We all know reserve currencies don't last forever, and the USD's had an excellent run. But again, that's why we're precious metals bugs over here, and we're really positioning ourselves for if that debt can't be covered or if inflation continues to run hot, we feel like precious metals is the place to be either way to cover yourself.
That's a major reason why I stack physical gold and silver, that mountain of debt. And speaking of mountains, Kevin, you're the founder and CEO of Gold Mountain. I love that name.
I am.
A gold mining company, which is among the extremely rare few that are actually going into production. Is that right?
Yeah, in production. Yeah,
You're in it now.
We as of Tuesday last week, we delivered our first truckload of ore to New Gold. And we're kicking off revenue. Our fiscal year started February 1st, so we're extremely excited. It's a big step for the company, and we just went public about 14 months ago. So, right. Yeah, really great things on the horizon.
Oh, that's exciting. Please tell us all briefly about your property. I think it's where you're at right now, right?
Yep.
And your leadership team. Tell us about that. insider ownership. I'd love to know who's investing with you and any other financial data that you think would be helpful for us to hear.
So the Elk Mine, which is located halfway between Merritt, BC and Kelowna, it's 2 kilometers off an all-season highway. It's a past producer. It's got a ton of infrastructure on it. 127,000 kilometers of, or 127,000 meters, sorry, of historic drilling. And we picked this up for $1 million down payment cash Canadian. And we have to pay the remaining $9 million over 5 years. So we feel like we got excellent value. All the infrastructure that's in place, replacement cost in today's dollars is somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 to 70 million. So we got an excellent discount. And if we can make our remaining payments through cash flow and proceeds of mining, I think we've established a really interesting model. It's not typical in North American for mining companies to do things this way, but we wanted to get into cash flow early, use a small scale, really low risk, low capex model to get into production, and then use that cash flow to expand our project in a non-dilutive manner. When we started, it was 375,000 ounces, which is relatively small. We've done almost 20,000 meters of drilling here. We've increased the resources to almost 1.1 million ounces. We're really excited about a few new areas on the property that we're drilling. We feel there's an opportunity for multiple open pits and potentially a 2 to 3 million ounce producer here. So we're really excited about what's going on. And there was a 3-pronged question there. So you wanted to know about our leadership next, I believe.
Well, actually, before we jump to the leadership, how much did the previous owners spend on that mine?
Oh, there's got to be at least 60, $70 million in previous spend. There's 127,000 meters in historic drilling. There's an underground decline that's already at a patch of high grade ore. There's 2 open pits, so it's really clear where the footwall is and where to mine the veins. And we're developing the pit out right now. And as mentioned a little bit earlier, we're already starting to deliver ore. So we're very excited.
Man, I wish you could just pick up the laptop and bring me outside and show me around, but that would be so cool to see. By the way, is this the first new mine in British Columbia in years?
Yeah, it's been a while. There's a pretty onerous permitting process in the province of British Columbia, and we were able to navigate this, get our major mines permit, also get our environmental permit, and permission to ship our ore to New Afton's facility in Kamloops. So we're really excited. I know a lot of people think of Canada and it's dog sleds and igloos, but we're able to work this year round. It's a pretty temperate climate. So yeah, we're in good shape here. It's a great project.
I read that you will be mining gold, or you are mining gold now, for, was it $18 an ounce? Is that true?
Yeah, $554 all-in sustaining cost per ounce. That's extremely low over the life of mine. And we have a super low capex as well. We built this mine and got back into production for less than $10 million. So very rare scenario. And
that's
we feel very
incredible.
fortunate.
I can only imagine what the profit might be if gold busts above 2,000. And I think it might happen soon. We'll see. That's
yeah, and
good.
all those figures are based on a long-term $1,600 gold price.
Wow.
So we've built in some conservative estimates there, and we're with you. We're pretty excited about what happens when this thing busts out to new all-time highs.
All right, tell me about your team.
Yeah, so myself, my background is real estate development and construction. I met a gentleman named Tukey Angus, who's one of our strategic advisors a few years ago. Him and I decided to start building out mining projects together. He's a bit of a mining legend. He's had multiple multi-billion-dollar exits in the mining space. This is his and my first deal that we're doing together. Great to have his experience and mentorship on taking this project from discovery to development and through to production. We also have guys like Quentin Henney surrounding the project. Quentin tried to buy this project 5 or 6 years ago. When he heard we had it, he wouldn't leave us alone, wanted to get involved. Obviously, we're thrilled to have him on board as an advisor in what we're doing. But we also have a lot of operational experience. We're a young management team, but we've got 2 mining engineers and our president, Ron Wu, and Grant Carlson, our COO. These guys have built, permitted, and operated mines here in British Columbia before. And that's, we really built this company with the end in mind that we wanted to build a larger mining company. So that was really key for us. we have in-house counsel, Alex Bayer. I couldn't stomach some of the legal bills in these public companies, being a new public company guy. So we brought in our own legal counsel so we can run a really lean operation. And I think it's worth mentioning that, none of management's taking any salaries until we got into production. We're all check writers. We're all equity remunerated, extremely aligned with shareholders. And we wanted to show the market that we were serious about building a mining company here. So, I mean, now that we're in production and we're producing cash flow, we'll start looking to take some salaries. But up until now, the past 3 years, it's all blood, sweat, and tears here.
That's impressive.
When you look at our cap table, we have less than 85 million shares when we're fully diluted.
Yep.
We've put the majority of the capex out to build out our project already. We're going to be able to expand with the cash flow from the proceeds of mining. Again, it's a very unique story. You don't see a lot of this in the North American public markets, but with the cash flow kicking off and the growth potential, there's a lot of excitement here. We're trading at, just shy of $100 million market cap. And we put out a PEA in August, and it said that we have an after-tax MPV of over $231 million. Now, when you consider producers typically re-rate to 0.9 of that number, there's a lot of upside from here, and we're extremely excited about what's to come in the market.
All right. Talk to me a little bit about the ownership, insider ownership, I should say. Who's got skin in the game here?
Yeah, major skin in the game with insiders. We own over 25% of the company. Myself, I'm the largest shareholder and largest check writer to date. So, I'm aligned with shareholders and keen to see this project be successful. And we're just starting to see some major institutions come in, which is really exciting for us. As a new management group, we were relying mostly on sort of a retail market, but seeing some of the more sticky institutional money come in, I think there's a lot of excitement starting to build around this project. And a lot of people are starting to realize just what we've done in a short period of time, getting this mine into production and now being in a position to expand in a non-dilutive manner through the proceeds of mining.
You mentioned that you recently announced an uplist on the Toronto Stock Exchange. Isn't that right?
Yeah, we're now listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange, which is really exciting.
You're trading under the ticker symbol GMTN, right?
Correct.
And here in the States, you can get in on Gold Mountain with the ticker symbol GMTNF. That's the over-the-counter stock. So make sure your trading platform allows you to do that. But wow, this is a really interesting story you have going there. I'm going to watch you like a hawk. If you want more information, Kevin, how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm an easy guy to get a hold of. My phone number, my personal phone number, and my email is at the bottom of every press release. You can also find a ton of information at our website, gold-mountain.ca. And we're really active on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to see some videos of the mine and what's going on up here as things develop, we try to keep our audience updated with weekly updates. So yeah, we're very accessible and look forward to hearing from some of your followers.
I love that social media focus there. That's great, Kevin. All right. Hey, thanks so much for joining me. It's been a real pleasure. And I'll talk to you soon, I hope.
So much for having us.